Now we are going to add a couple of crayon details, and then we are going to begin to watercolor our landscape drawing. So I want you to get out a couple colors like this, yellow, green. If you have a light green, get that out too. Kind of like a tan color and a brown color. So pause the video here and get these out. It needs to be crayons. It can't be colored pencils or markers. You don't have to have all of them, but get out what you got. Okay, now we are going to use these to add a couple of fun details to our drawing here. You don't have to do it exactly like I do. Hopefully yours looks a little bit different than mine because we're all trying to make ours look a little bit unique. I just want to show you some fun things that you can do with the crayon. That's going to be a really cool detail once we add the watercolor. One thing you can do, I'm going to use the light green for this, is in one of these spots, if you want to add like a whole bunch of little like crops growing, what I'm doing is just drawing little V's in rows so that it looks like crops. And then later on, I can add brown watercolor on top, and then that will kind of look like the dirt. When you use your crayons, make sure you're pressing hard. If you're just going wimpy, 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 then you're not going to be able to see it through the watercolor. One thing that I want everybody to do right now with me is along the bottom here, we are going to make this into rows of a field. So I want you to draw, you could use brown for this, you could use yellow, you could use any of the colors really. I'm going to use green. I want you to draw a line straight down like that. Then this row is going to angle slightly, just a little bit diagonal. So I'm just going to draw just a little bit of a diagonal line like that. And then a little bit more. And a little bit more. And maybe squeeze one last one in right there. Now on this side I'm going to do the same, but now my diagonals are going to go this way. So this side is going to be just a little bit diagonal. And a little bit more. A little bit more. And a little bit more. Our crayons are only for adding in these little details like this. I don't need you to take any crayons and like fill in areas because we are going to be watercolor painting that. Okay. Anything else that we could do? If you wanted to have some lines in the field, but they're going like horizontal, like this way, side to side, that would work too. Okay, so just different things that you can do there. When you're all done with that, actually take a minute and I want you to work on that. And then when you're all done with that, come back to the video and I'll show you how to paint. Okay, now we're going to be using watercolor paints. Everybody should have a watercolor palette, and then every table should have a bowl or a cup of water, and you should have a paintbrush. As you are working, no one should have to ding their paintbrush on the edge of the cup or the bowl. If you ever need to dry off your paintbrush, if you have too much water in it, then just wipe it on a paper towel, please. Okay? So you can paint this however you want. We just want it to look realistic. So please don't be painting like purple clouds or anything like that. You've used watercolors before, but if you just get your paintbrush a little bit wet and stir it in there with whatever color you want, then you can paint right on your paper. If it's too dark, see how that's darker than that? Just get a little bit more water and then you'll be able to spread it out, and that will make it a lighter color. If you are ever painting and your paintbrush is having a bad hair day, okay, don't paint like this, by the way, okay? If your paintbrush is having a bad hair day, then you need to use more water. So make sure you have plenty of water. If you switch from one color to the next, make sure you wash your brush off. Otherwise they're gonna mix together. I didn't wash my brush off there very well, and my blue and my yellow kind of mixed together. So here I was gonna paint brown so that I could see my crops. So if I want to come in here and you can see my crop showing up over here. If there's ever a spot where they look a little hidden, you can just take your paper towel and kind of dab it like that, and that will lighten it up. So whatever colors you would like to use to paint, you are welcome to do so. Just trying to make it look realistic and trying to make sure our paintbrushes have good hair days by using plenty of water. Try not to paint wet things next to wet things. Okay, so if I were to paint this sky right around the sun here, don't go right now and paint this sun, because this paint right here is all wet. If I try to paint this wet, then they're gonna mix together. So just come back, do something else over here, and then let that dry a couple minutes, and then you can come back and paint that. Okay, so happy painting.